And I really, really love acting. On a set, the least powerful person is the actor, contrary to what people believe. You know, you're at the mercy of primarily the director, the writer, the cinematographer, the audiographer. Everybody on the set, their job can influence whether you look good or not. As a child, when I used to go on my father's set and observe how films were made then to when I first started off to today, I mean, there's a sea change, as there should be.
Yeah.
It's important. I mean, it's the medium of art. It's a creative medium, and it has to evolve. It has to keep growing. Any child, and I'm not saying children, but any child of a parent, their parents are their heroes.
Yeah.
They're their go-to people. You don't ever want to ever accept the fact that they're aging, are becoming more frail. That comes with a certain eventuality which you never want to even think about.
Yeah.
So it is difficult, but such is life. And I think the greatest of the great, if you see, was Mr. Charlie Chaplin, who through what everybody thinks is comedy, actually taught us so much about humanity. It takes a 10-year-old to say, when are you going to lead your life?
Yeah.
When are you going to fulfill your dreams? You spent your entire life fulfilling other people's dreams. Live a little.
Yeah.
And it also says that you don't need age to be wise.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old can give you perspective in life. I love all my films because they've taught me so much. But the first time I think the people started recognizing and started saying, okay, maybe this guy can do it, was in Yuva. Yeah.
That's exactly
that was the first time I received that publicly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the credit of that goes entirely to the great Mani Ratnam. I mean, to have the faith and to see within me the ability to be able to do that is something which I mean, I love Mani and I'm so thankful he gave me that opportunity. I mean, I don't think it's fair for me to say that this is meaty and that's not.
Right.
That's probably tougher to do. Comedy is immensely difficult, and especially physical comedy is even tougher because the kind of energies you require, it's very tough.
I'm going to show you something first, and I want your reaction because this is a little walk down the memory lane because he's been a part of the film again with you.
Yeah.
This is insane.
So, great story. Fardeen, I mean, obviously we've grown up similarly. He's a bit older to me, but Fardeen is somebody I've always looked up to. Definitely the coolest and most stylish actor we've ever had.
Yeah.
A lot of people give his father that credit, but trust me, Fardeen is a lot more. I know that guy. Looks familiar. My gosh.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's my best friend there. So yeah, he's my buddy.
Welcome to Varinder Chawla presents The Headline and The Byline with me, Hesha. Joining me for a conversation today, I can safely say somebody who I'm very excited to talk to because I just met him a few months ago for his previous release, Be Happy, and now we're here to talk to him about something else that he brings to us after the massive success of Houseful 5. Congratulations, Abhishek Bachchan in the house!
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're looking fitter than ever, as I told you even right now. I am so happy to be doing this with you yet again because I enjoy your work. I've been a fan of your work since Bluffmaster. Ever since that happened, I was like, that's it. Huge fan, Abhishek Bachchan, this is what it is. My journalist dies every time I sit in front of you. But I'm going to activate all of that today and do this chat. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Beautiful year. So much happening. OTT releases, theatrical, and I'm sure there's more. And of course, we've got Kalidhar here.
Yes.
Oh my God. I've seen the film, Perks of My Job.
Oh.
And मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी है.
Thank you.
And there are a couple of things which we will talk about, but before that, Abhishek's definition of success, has that changed?
Has that changed?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think with time that changes, right? Your priorities change. When I started, I was 22, 23. Yeah. Your priority system is very different. Today, you're more settled, I think, in life. So your priorities are different. At that point in time, it's more material. I think when you're young, you're driven by a lot of material things. You're driven by just success, and today it's beyond what's material. I think you reach a different maturity, a certain sense of wisdom. So I think today success is if you can lay your head down on that pillow at night and sleep peacefully, knowing that you've given it your best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. You know, I just interacted with Tarun a couple days ago, Mansakani, and I told him, I said, how is it like to be with Abhishek again after Dostana? And he said, he's the same. He just has a lot of fun. And at the same time, he gives me so much wisdom that I'm just like, oh, this man, I've known him since I was a baby, and now he's the same. My question, the wisdom and the comic side of yours, are you all channeling in your work also right now? Kahan comedy aa raha hai, fir ye aa raha hai, amazing.
See, I think I'm very lucky. You get to do, for example, I can do and I Want to Talk, and then do a Be Happy, and then do Household 5, and now do Kalidhar. I think I'm very lucky that I get to do a variety of work. I'm happy that I'm getting to make the films that really inspire me, and films that I want to be a part of and be a part of telling. I just think I'm very lucky, and so you have to give it your best. You have to enjoy it while it lasts. I think any actor will tell you that you never know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah.
So you have to just give it your best, and be it a comedy, or be it a drama, or be it a romantic film or an action film, I think you have to give it your all. And I really, really love acting. I enjoy being on set. I love making films, and I love the process of being part of a film. And I've always said, the eventual outcome of a film, the success of it isn't in your hands.
Right.
It's in the hands of the audience. They will independently take a decision, devoid of any emotion or anything, that do we like this film or do we not? And you respect that. The only thing, so if you see, especially as an actor, you're actually the least powerful person in that entire firmament. None of it is in your hands. You can't influence any of it. The only thing that is in your hands is whether the process of making that film is going to go down as a good memory or not.
Right, true.
Yeah. So go and have fun.
But the onus always somewhere down the line lies with the actor, right? Because you guys are in the the main front of things.
Right.
So people come and ask
you
you
become the face of it.
Yeah, you become the face of it. And I feel that's why these conversations...
The onus isn't on us, we're just the face of it. Like I said, actually on a set, the least powerful person is the actor. Contrary to what people believe. You're at the mercy of primarily the director, the writer, the cinematographer, the audiographer. Everybody on the set, their job can influence whether you look good or not.
Right.
And whether your job is seen or not. So, the onus isn't on us. I would say that's primarily on the director, because they're the captain of the ship. But yeah, we're in the face of it. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Has the Abhishek between action and cut changed?
I'd like to think so. I hope so. I mean, I've worked towards it changing. Throughout my career, I think you try and become that much more comfortable in front of the camera.
Right.
Your quest is always to improve upon what you did last. Try and explore newer depths of stuff and do something different. Try and do something that you haven't done before. And if you're doing something similar in terms of genre to what you've done before, you're trying to do it in a newer way. So by virtue of that, you have to try and improve with every film. And I hope I have. Yeah, I try to.
You're an observer, right? Am I right? Do you observe a lot?
Yes.
Okay, so if
all actors do.
Yeah, most of the actors do. Not almost.
Yeah.
But
most.
But if I were to teleport you, let's say, to any of your sets, like 25 years is a long time to be in the industry and still continue to be here, right? And I feel somewhere down the line, being relevant and giving it your all, and then also reinventing and exploring takes a lot from an actor. If you were to go back to any of your sets as a pure observer, what would you observe about yourself, or let's say people around you?
In what way?
In any way, work-wise. Do you see any differences? Would you observe?
There's several, many differences. I mean, from as a child, when I used to go on my father's set and observe how films were made then to when I first started off to today. I mean, there's a sea change, as there should be.
Yeah.
It's important. I mean, it's the medium of art. It's a creative medium, and it has to evolve. It has to keep growing. Otherwise, it's going to stagnate. And I've always said this: stagnation is the death of creativity. So yes, there's always going to be a change, and that change is for the better. You learn from the past. You learn from sitting on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah.
And you have to try and take that legacy forward.
Yeah.
So yes, a lot has changed, and I'd like to believe for the better. We're learning, you're adapting, you're evolving.
Yeah. Growing up, what was your fodder like? Was it Hindi films that you grew up watching, or was it world cinema?
A bit of both, with the emphasis primarily on Hindi films.
Yeah.
When we were very small, there used to be one film that used to come on Sunday, There was one television channel on Doordarshan.
Hanji.
That used to watch, and then you got the opportunity to watch films at trials and screenings at either my parents, their films, or friends of ours' parents. Then obviously VHS came in, so you used to watch that. But with that, you also were exposed to a lot of other cinema, world cinema, English, Japanese, Iranian, French, Scandinavian, all kinds of cinema. Primarily because of my mother, because she was at home with us most of the time, and having studied at the Film Institute, she was very well versed with all of this. So that discussion was always about cinema. And it was enlightening. And then obviously when I became a teenager and started taking interest in acting, then in school and in boarding school, you start discovering newer directors with different voices, and it's just a magical world. But predominantly, I would say Hindi cinema.
Okay, when I saw Kalidhar, I have to say this, that a lot of emotions pent up. Pehle wale se chalu karungi.
Ji.
Growing old, I'm 35 right now. And with me growing old, where I feel wisdom sort of sinking in and I'm becoming more logical, etc., then I see my parents, and then aging parents is a whole new ball game altogether that I have to deal with at this given point in time. And that's one of the things that I learned from the film. I was like, okay, this is a part of life. It's journey. Hone hi wala hai. How do you see these things personally as Abhishek? Growing up, probably seeing your parents grow old as well with you?
It's difficult. Any child, and I'm not saying children, but any child of a parent, their parents are their heroes. They're their go-to people. You don't ever want to ever accept the fact that they're aging, are becoming more frail. That comes with a certain eventuality which you never want to even think about. So it is difficult, but such is life. And I think the way to approach it is to live it to the fullest. And you lead a good life, and it makes everything else a lot easier then. And
I'll tell you the second thing that stayed with me as well. I feel sometimes the bonds that we cultivate, the most unexpected bonds that we cultivate in life, just teach you so much. I loved your camaraderie with the kid. I think you're very good with kids, I must say. This really touched me at a deeper level, one to begin with. And the third most thing was that to have it all and then to not have it all. That whole feeling where you're oscillating between, I've gotten here, and then you lose it all, and then probably you're building it up again. These are the emotions that came to my mind when I saw Kalidhar. What were some of the things that came in your mind when probably you read the script or heard the narration for the first time?
I think it discusses some very important issues in a very light-hearted manner, which is the way I like stories to be told. I think the minute we get a bit too serious about stuff, it tends to get boring or preachy, and then your listener isn't really listening. I think if you can do it in a light-hearted, casual manner, I think the impact is a lot more. And I think the greatest of the great, if you see, was Mr. Charlie Chaplin, who through what everybody thinks is comedy, actually taught us so much about humanity. And I've always lent towards that style of storytelling. Yes, drama and the gravity of a story should not be compromised, but how you tell that story, I personally prefer to tell stories like that, but I see there's always space for the dramatic as well. So I really like the way Madhumita was telling the story, was discussing certain values and morals that we as Indians have. And I thought it was quite unique that it was being done in the setting that the film is in. Middle class, lower middle class India is looked upon in a particular way, and where there's a lot where maybe the head of the family or the patriarch is looked upon as, the all-encompassing the person who will put the family before self and, do everything to ensure that the family is taken care of, and that's your duty.
Yeah.
And in that environment, to see somebody who, unfortunately, through the harsh realities of life, realizes that I've spent my entire life trying to fulfill my family's dreams, and it takes a small 8-year-old to make him realize that, hey, what about your dreams?
Yeah.
When are you going to start living your life? Actually, it's quite a rebellious thing for that strata, actually, if you think about it.
True.
We sadly tend to think that when you've accomplished a lot, especially financially, is when you can start doing what I want to do, because your responsibilities are taken care of.
Yeah.
We never associate that with the working class. They're just grinding all the time, and they're just, doing their best to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And in the middle of that, for somebody to say, hey, wait, I'm going to prioritize myself, is actually a very audacious thing to do.
True.
And I quite like that in this film. That it takes this man who's in his mid-50s, and it takes a 10-year-old to say, when are you going to lead your life?
Yeah.
When are you going to fulfill your dreams? You spent your entire life fulfilling other people's dreams. Live a little.
Yeah.
And it also says that you don't need age to be wise.
Yeah.
A 10-year-old can give you perspective in life.
This is exactly what my mom tells me sometimes. She's like, from the time you were probably young and then you became a teenager and then you gave me advice, I was like, oh, bacche bade ho gaye.
Correct.
Yeah, like you can also say the right things.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not always the other way around. We can also give good perspective sometimes. And it's ironic, but it's nicer.
Yeah, it's true,
Yeah. Do you remember anybody giving you like probably somebody on the sets of your films only, like a child artist or an actor who came and said something and you were like, wow, this stayed with me?
All the time. Yeah, these kids are amazing. I mean, Devik alone was a old soul. Him, Inayat from one of my favorite co-stars, and Inayat will just say some random stuff and you just feel like, wow.
Yeah. Like I remember what she said in my interview with you. She said, Abhishek sir is fun and mature. Bhaiya is fun and mature at the same time.
Correct. She's that. I mean, they just, and what you realize is, I think we've all been brought up with a sense of hierarchy, and today's younger generation doesn't have that sense. They're very equal, and just because you're older, that doesn't mean they're going to respect you. You have to give them a reason for that, and a plausible reason. You can't pull rank on them because they're also well informed. They're so well read, educated, and they've got such wonderful exposure, and I think it's very refreshing. Very. So they'll stump you on a daily basis. I mean, Devik used to show up on set and rattle off like monologues, and I'm like, I've spent the whole morning trying to learn this dialogue, and this guy, I mean, he's coming, he's playing cricket, he's fooling around, and suddenly he rattles off 2 pages of dialogue. And you're like, how does he do it?
Yeah.
And then he tells me, nahi, sir, kal raat der tak main dialogue seekh raha tha. I said, okay. So it's wonderful. They stump you regularly.
Wow. When somebody says Abhishek Bachchan, मेरे दिमाग में तो बहुत सारी ऐसी pictures हैं आपकी favorites, which I personally loved and adore. But if I were to ask you today, 25 years when you're looking at, what's the one film where you felt that the industry opened up to the actor within you?
Well, that actually happened the first time people actually started speaking in that sense. I still remember. I mean, I love all my films because they've taught me so much. But the first time I think the people started recognizing and started saying, okay, maybe this guy can do it, was in Yuva. Yeah.
That's exactly
what the first time I received that publicly. Yeah.
Yeah. And also it was such an amazing character that you played, so out of the box. It was like, oh my God, that's Abhishek doing this. But I mean, I completely agree with you.
I mean, the credit of that goes entirely to the great Mani Ratnam. I mean, to have the faith and to see within me the ability to be able to do that is something which I mean, I love Mani, and I'm so thankful he gave me that opportunity.
Right, for sure. If I were to ask you now, how do you sort of oscillate between picking roles which, let's say, are meatier as this one, or the ones that you've done before, which is I Want to Talk or Be Happy, vis-a-vis like a Houseful 5, which is there just for the audiences to have a great time, great laugh, have fun, and be a part of an ensemble cast too? How do you choose then?
It's what you feel like doing.
Gut instinct?
Be Happy, I Want to Talk, Kalidhar, all happen back to back. And they take a lot out of you. And at that point in time, I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I've saturated that desire within me, and now I want to have fun. And by the grace of God, Tarun showed up and said, hey, Houseful 5. I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
Great co-stars. You're going to have a wonderful time making the film, which we did. And you just feel like, okay, I want to exhale. I want to have some fun. I mean, I don't think it's fair for me to say that this is meaty and that's not.
Right.
That's probably tougher to do. Comedy is immensely difficult. And especially physical comedy is even tougher because the kind of energies you require, it's very tough. But I think actors just go through their phase. Okay, I've done this. I'm done with this. Now I want to try something else.
Sure. Yeah. Also have to add this up and ask you, we often ask women actors about vanity. You're loved the walk, loved the way you're so raw and so unfiltered in every way. I feel there are scenes where you chappal bhi nahi pehne hai. Yeah, and I'm just like, wow, that's really getting into the skin of the character. Does that come to you easier than it used to earlier?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, now it's like cakewalk.
No, it always was. I mean, at the end of the day, my job is about being true to the character and what my director wants me to do. And that's the most important thing. If you're not going to be truthful to that moment as an actor, you're not really doing your job.
Sure.
So for me, it's very important to be able to sell the character. People should believe that it's not Abhishek Bachchan, but it's the character. And if that happens partially, also, I feel I've done something correct.
Yeah. The first scene, I was feeling bad. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. He's making me feel so helpless. At this point, I teleported myself back there and I was like, oh my God. But yeah, these are things. Has health and health issues ever played onto your mind as well? Because that comes with the part of growing old.
I think you're always aware of it. I've had a bit of a thing where I've never felt that these things are going to affect me. For the longest time, I thought, nah, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you see, you experience life and you realize that it's actually very fragile.
Yeah.
And you learn to savor every moment. And I think that's kind of what this film is also talking about. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so enjoy today.
Lastly, before I let you go, I have to ask you this. I'm going to show you something first, and I want your reaction because this is a little walk down the memory lane, and also stemming from the fact that Abhishek has formed beautiful friendships in this industry. And मेरे जो co-colleagues हैं, जो मेरे friends हैं, मैं उनको बोलती हूँ हम कभी साथ में काम नहीं करेंगे because I don't think I can manage. But you've done that beautifully, so I have picked up a few photos from the archives.
Oh wow!
To show you, and if you remember a thing or two, if you can just take us through, that would be great.
This is obviously two people that are like my elder brothers of the several. This is obviously Sanju sir and Anna.
Yeah.
Anna I did my first film with. He was in Refugee, and Sanju sir, I've literally played as a child in his lap. And they're two people I have immense love and respect for, and I would do anything for them. And I know they're the kind of people, if I call at 4 a.m. saying I've got a flat tire, I need a lift, they'll show up. They mean the world to me. Yeah.
Okay, another one, because he's been a part of the film again with you.
Yeah.
This is insane.
So, great story. Fardeen, I mean, obviously we've grown up similarly. He's a bit older to me, but Fardeen is somebody I've always looked up to. Definitely the coolest and most stylish actor we've ever had.
Yeah.
A lot of people give his father that credit, but trust me, Fardeen is a lot more. But, contrary to what his appearance is, he's possibly one of the most soft-hearted, emotional people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And he's been like one of those silent friends. He's not always in your face, but you know that if you ever need him, he's always there. And what I love about Dean is this is the second film we did together. Our first was Om Jai Jagdish.
Om Jai Jagdish.
And in fact, that shirt I'm wearing over there, he had gifted me.
Oh!
Yeah.
Wow.
And just the most stylish. But Dean's the kind of guy that, we might not meet for months, and suddenly I'll get a message saying, hey, I saw this photo of you. Are you okay? You're not looking that great. Or, if you need anything, I'm here. Or, hey, I saw this photo. You're looking great. Looks like you're happy. Let's meet. You want friends like that.
Yeah.
You want people who will check up on you when they don't even need to. Obviously, Dean's now thankfully back in Mumbai. He was for the longest time in England, and I used to meet him whenever I used to go there. But he's just a wonderful soul, wonderful guy.
Such a nice friend to have. I want such friends too. I'm stealing some of them.
Absolutely.
Okay, last picture. Also because he's the reason why I have a meaning to my name.
Okay.
All this while, Papa fooled me saying Hesha is some flower in Holland.
Okay.
But it is this man whose picture I'm going to show you right now who actually told me what Hesha really means.
Okay. I know that guy. Looks familiar. My gosh.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's my best friend there. So yeah, he's my buddy.
Yeah, so small story. I was one of the stylists on the set of KBC7.
Oh, wow.
And I was styling your dad, and he walked up to me and he said, Hesha ka arth kya hai? And I said, some flower. He's like, no, this is not what it means. And he told me the actual meaning.
What does it mean?
It's a Sanskrit word which means complete. And that's thanks to this man sitting here, of course, who told me what it means.
Well, there's a reason he's the best.
Yeah. Do you remember when this picture was taken?
You know, I can't.
But I can remind you.
See it?
Yeah, please, please, please. Sorry.
No, I can't. I mean, kurta pajama we wear very often. So this is obviously before I joined the films. I think I must have been 18 or 19 in this photograph.
Wow.
This is the early 90s. Yeah, 92, 93. Do you know where it's from?
No. But I know the one which is after. Because right after that was Refugee.
This is early 90s,
Yeah.
Wow.
We really dug in. And life's coming a full circle because Refugee it is. Oh my God.
Wow. Look at Bebo. Wow.
Look at you also, both of you all.
Yeah, where is this? This must be at some award function.
Yeah. This was one of the award functions, I guess.
Yeah, this is at some award function. This again is soon after our debut. This must be about 2002 or 2003. She's just wonderful. I love her. You know, apart from just being my first co-star, she's just such a wonderful actor, and she's just wonderful. Yeah. I mean, your first co-star is always going to be special, but I'll always have a special place in my heart for her.
Yeah. Also a debut film, so that kind of becomes
Absolutely.
more
We started
special.
our journeys together, and she's just, she's just beautiful. Yeah. She's great.
But Abhishek, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. That was wonderful. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure just listening to you because the fun side we see in your films and the wisdom we see now in your films as well and while chatting with you. So I really enjoy meeting you every time. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it. And we're all looking forward to Kalidhar Lapata on Z5 only.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Cut.